Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel, and today we are going to be doing a special podcast. The end of 2018 is coming. It's only got a few more days left of it. Today, we are going to be going over some of the best performances of the entire year. Joining me for this podcast is my co-host, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this special episode. It's a good at the end of the year. Everyone does like a recap episode usually, and most podcasts do. So we're gonna do one too. And there were a lot of good performances this year. The problem with my list is there weren't a lot of good contestants, but the contestants that were good were really good and had a lot of good performances. So I limited myself to one performance per contestant. If I wanted to remove that limit, I would have had like a 30 or 40 long list. So
yes, we are going to we've each put together a list of 5 performances from the shows. I believe all the shows that we chose from are American Idol, The X Factor UK, and America's Got Talent. Am I correct, Eric? Those are the only ones we picked from?
I picked one from a different show.
All right, so we did that plus Eric's. We each put together a list of 5, so it's going to be 10 performances in total. There might be a little bit of cross between the two of them. I'm going to assume there might actually be. I
think there won't be, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. I do also want to mention this is an exciting podcast for me because I'm actually doing it for the first time with my new mic, which is right here. You can't fully see it. But if you're watching this and you're noticing a difference, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you hear a difference.
They gotta feel better about his purchase.
Yes. All right. So I guess before we get into the performances, let's kind of do a bit of a quick recap of the year, Eric. So we started this podcast. We started all the way back in February. Am I correct? Or was
February,
it early March?
And mid-end February.
No, because we did it a few weeks before to kind of
2 episodes before Idol premiered.
Yeah, and since then we've got 3 shows below our belt, and this was actually a question I kind of want to ask. Which of these 3 shows do you think kind of really was the best of the seasons that you were the most entertained by?
100% X Factor.
I gotta say Idol. I mean,
that's because you got your winner.
American Idol was so good last season. It was giving it everything it needed. It was kind of a return to the old that I remember, like falling in love with the show at the beginning. And for me, it was kind of.
Honestly, your rankings are probably not the opposite, because I think you put X Factor second, right?
Yes. For me, of the 3 shows, it would probably go American Idol, X Factor, America's Got Talent.
I'd switch Idol I'd move Idol to third.
Whoa.
X Factor first, America's Got Talent second.
Why the harshness for American Idol?
Because I'll get to it later in my list, but every time I started to like someone on Idol this year, poof, they're gone.
Yeah. So. Can we maybe talk about this a little bit at the start of the show? Correct me if I'm wrong. I was reading the schedule for the upcoming season of Idol, and is it true there's another week added, but the week was added to auditions?
That's what I heard. Is that the most ridiculous fucking thing you've ever heard? I'm sorry I cursed, but I can't help it. That's the dumbest thing.
Why?
That's the exact wrong place to add a week, isn't it?
That's like
the exact wrong place.
How many weeks is that of auditions?
4, maybe?
8 weeks, 8 episodes.
I don't know. It's gonna suck, but
oh my gosh! What?
I'm so confused by it.
Can we also talk about a little bit about America's Got Talent, because we are going to be recapping it. It begins, I believe, January 7th. We've kind of heard a lot about what's going to be coming, but Eric, what are your hopes for the show this coming season?
You mean the Champions Edition?
Yeah.
My hope is that Terry Crews is a good host, because odds are he'll be taking over for Tyra come the summer.
Yeah, Tyra has gone bye-bye. It's like Ty, she's gone.
Yeah.
I like that joke. I'm gonna run it into the dirt, but I guess let's kind of get into it. Let's get into our list, Eric.
Okay. First honorable mentions, and So
I was
there
thinking
are two performances I wanted to bring up that were not singing performances. Because we covered the Got Talent shows, and America's Got Talent we covered. I watched Britain's Got Talent as well. So my two non-singing performances that I want to give kudos to were Shin Lim's semifinal performance, where he did part of the Dream Act. Because when I first saw him on Penn and Teller's show like 3 or 4 years ago now, I thought if he goes on America's Got Talent, he's gonna win. He did. He won. The delivery of his tricks alone was impressive. I have no idea how he does them, and I'm just really, really, really happy that he won. And the other one was Lost Voice Guy's first audition on Britain's Got Talent, and this is more of a personal one for me because as someone who works for a disability rights nonprofit, his journey was wonderful to watch. He's hilarious, great jokes, very clever routine, and he got to perform in front of a queen. Not a queen. He got to perform in front of the new royal couple a couple of weeks ago, and it was really funny as well. So I'm really happy that he's going to be on America's Got Talent with Champions. I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Are we back? All right, sorry. Yeah, he's going to be one of the few contestants coming from Britain's Got Talent, right? Along with Susan Boyle and
Tokyo.
Did Tokyo win? I think he won. Was he a what was he?
Player.
He was a piano player. Is he good?
He's undeniably talented, but it's not my thing.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just gonna throw out my honorable mentions. One of them is gonna get make Eric's head explode a little bit, but the one that makes a little bit more sense is the only one that I have from America's Got Talent that I really remember of all the performances. The one that I've gone back to and listened to the most is actually a duet at the finale with Lindsey Sterling and Brian King Joseph covering Round Table. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name. I wrote down. What you know the song, the violin. Round Table Rival, I think is what.
Whatever it was good. I remember it being good.
I totally just blanked on the title, but Round Table Rival. Kind of like the two of them they're really good. But on the topic of Lindsey Sterling, actually, I believe there was a bit of a story recently.
She asked to be on the Champions, and she obviously said no. I
love her so much for that. Because she was, if you go watch like her old video, like they were really brutal to her. Like it was.
Why would she go on the show? Why did they even ask her? Is my question.
When I saw that when I heard that she wasn't going to be on the list, I was thinking she's probably the only one who said no. And when I heard the confirmation, I was like, good girl, like show them.
There are a couple others who probably said no, but
yeah, there was actually one other act that I believe was reported to say no. Zucchero, but was there more of a story to that, or
I don't know. They're all separate and they had jobs and stuff. I don't know.
You're gonna laugh at me for this, Eric. But the last performance I want to give an honorable to mention is what is it, Eric?
Baby Shark.
It is Baby Shark.
Why would you do that?
Because I'll be honest, like of all the performances on the X Factor UK, I just keep going back to like the lulz of it.
The worst part about that is that I actually guessed it. That's the worst part. Is that I actually figured it out when you were laughing about it.
I mean,
okay,
it's a memorable moment.
I have my singing honorable mentions now because those are just the ones for non-singers.
Those are all my honorable mentions. But if you have any before we get to the actual list, go ahead.
Okay, I have 3 quick ones, and then we'll get right to the list. So Cade Fainer and Bishop Briggs never tear us apart. Cade had a ton of potential, but never fully lived up to it, in my view. This is as close as he came. Ada Vox Creep, same description as Cade. Misunderstood, ghetto style, same one I said for Cade and Ada.
What did Misunderstood do? Which performance?
It was the second performance they did. The 6th chair one.
I didn't see that one.
It was good. I mean, all 3 of my honorable mentions in this category were basically people who had a ton of potential, never fully lived up to it, and these are the closest they came. So,
all right, let's get to the actual list, shall we, Eric?
Yeah.
So let's kind of go back and forth. So I guess I'll start because
I like that
so the first person on my list is actually a contestant I knew I wanted to put on the list at some point, and it's from American Idol, and it is Katie Turner performing Havana, which is a flip, kind of a different rendition of it. And I really just wanted representation of Katie because I wanted to just highlight, again, how good of an artist I think she is. And this performance was different from the original. It was kind of a bit of a flip. And I just really enjoyed the acoustic version of it. It's one of the performances I keep going back to of the season. What did you think about it, Eric?
I thought it was great, and it's a valid choice. She's higher on my list, and it's not that performance.
Ooh, Katie Turner, man, like going back, she, for me, is one of the contestants that just has a lot of replayability. Like, I can just keep like, aside for like one or two, I could just put them on replay and just listen to them because they're just easy listening. And I want more contestants like Katie on the future seasons. Like the ones that are both personality and can also really back it up with raw talent, because she is a perfect marriage of those two. She is what Hee Jun Han wishes he could have been. Like those
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? Like, there are those contestants that there are either like they have a good voice, but maybe their personality is kind of and then sometimes there's the opposite. Katie Turner is the perfect Idol contestant because she is both of those. And I'm hoping we get another person just like her, although I don't think you can because there's only one Katie Turner.
Okay.
All right, go on. Let's hear it.
Ready for me to mention the next one for first and last time ever?
All right, let's hear it.
So, guess what show it's from?
I can't guess. You gotta give me
Before.
a little bit of it. Before?
Before.
The Four.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that show. I think
Never did I. I watched clips of one contestant.
Was that the show with Rebecca Black?
Yes, and actually it's a person who beat her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
So James Graham, who won The Four, season 2, which is, by the way, the show is the worst singing show on earth, hands down, no comparison. But in my view, they actually produced the best vocalist to win any American singing competition this year.
Wasn't he from the X Factor? I'm just looking.
Yes, he was. He was originally on the X Factor as part of an 8-piece boy band called Stereo Kicks, but really called Octo Boys. And honestly, he was originally on X Factor, but I don't care. He sang Writings on the Wall with my favorite performance he did by Sam Smith. And it's a stellar vocal. And performances like this one come so close to giving The Four a reason to exist. They don't quite go all the way because nothing was going to make that show have a reason to exist, in my view. It's a garbage format, but at least he gave good performances.
Are we really talking about The Four?
Only because of him. I watched him because I knew of him before the show, and I watched him, and he was excellent. And I'm never going to watch the show again.
You're bringing memories back. Like, I remember like some nights just scrolling through like recaps of the show, like just because I was like, eh. And was that the show? That was the show with the girl with dreadlocks that everyone was like talking about, was all over YouTube, and I thought was not that great. Was that her?
Yeah.
What was her? She had a funny name.
Zavia?
I don't remember. All I remember was she had dreadlocks, and I think she rapped. Am I right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Shreya? I don't know.
That show just seems like
it's an awful.
So unfair. Like, just unfair.
It's a terrible format. It's the worst format of any show I've ever seen. But they had someone good on this year. And hopefully they actually give them some promotion. And now we will never talk about that show again. Who's with me?
Let's put that behind us. And I guess it is my turn now to talk about a performance. For number 4, we are going to stay on the same season of American Idol. I'm going to give this performance my 4th favorite performance of the season.
We only had one season of Idol this year, so.
What? Well, all right. This is a contestant that we talked a lot about on Adam's TV podcast. Not always for the best, but I've gone back and watched some of our old.
Okay, it's Gabby.
I've gone back and watched some of our old recaps, and maybe it was just like the heat of like rooting, having a contestant get so close, and there was that one other horse in the race that was kind of maybe going to overtake her. That we kind of I feel like we didn't really do our coverage of Gabby justice.
Don't lump me into it.
But I gotta admit, there's one performance of Gabby's that I still love listening to, and I actually got to see her perform it live.
How come you don't call me anymore?
It's How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore by Prince. I mean, I don't know how I missed this performance like all the way back and didn't love it, because right now, like, there's one other performance from that season, and those are the three of my favorite of the season. I just keep going back to it, and it's crazy to me to think that I was so down on her, but I don't know. Did you like this performance, Eric?
Yes, it was pretty damn stellar, honestly. It was probably one of the highlights of Battle Tour. Not a fan of Gabby as a person necessarily, but as an artist, she's great.
Yes. Do you think I don't even know where I was going with that thought. Do you think she has a chance to maybe make it after the show? Do you think like any of these idol contestants are gonna?
I doubt it. I think Maddie's the only one who even has a remote chance. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Yes. All right. So let's hear it, Eric. It is your turn for your fourth pick. Let's hear it.
Scarlett Lee, I Put a Spell on You.
Fair pick. Definitely a fair pick. Explain though.
So Scarlett was really tough for me to pick one performance of, because every single performance she gave was in the B+ to A+ range in my view. And not a single one of them would be a consensus pick. She didn't have like one moment. She had lots of moments. She had lots of minor moments. No, not one big moment. But I based this one. I looked at my iTunes playlist and said, which of the songs do I listen to the most often? And this is the one. So this is the one I'm putting on my list to represent her entire body of work.
Totally fair. We're going to be talking about Scarlett a little bit later in the show today, of course. For me, Scarlett was all season like a solid second placer. Like, I feel like she was good. She gave it her all, and I feel like if there was one other contestant not on the season, she would probably run away with it. Except, well, actually, we know the results of the voting, and it probably would have maybe been Anthony winning. Which, can you imagine?
That would have been awful.
But
we dodged that bullet.
We dodged that bullet, and I'm still scratching my head at how he was winning the votes like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's the only other person who did besides my number one.
But man, Scarlett, I feel though like her legacy, the legacy that we're gonna get from Scarlett is kind of gonna go away really quickly. I feel like she's kind of like the highlight isn't going to be on her anymore. It's always going to be on Dalton, who won. And I feel like Scarlett's just she's a good singer, but I don't know what's going to happen to her afterwards.
I think she'll have a career in music. I don't think she'll be like, I think West End is where she's going to end up, actually.
West End is Broadway. It's like the UK Broadway. I mean, I love Scarlett, but I feel that I'm worried about her long-term like perspectives, because it just, she kind of falls
about a lot of these people's long-term perspectives. But
that's actually, I guess that's not really that fair to say. But anyway, I guess I'm going to go on to my number 3 pick, which is Baby Shark. No, it's not Baby Shark.
You already gave that one. You can't say it.
I wish I could say it again. It is Dalton Harris performing Listen during the Judge's House. Yes, I'm going to go with the Judge's House performance because it was first time hearing it, and I thought, wow, this guy's got everything. He's got a story. He can sing really well. He seems like someone that people could get behind and vote. And I was like, okay, Dalton, you have a chance to maybe win this. And I actually picked him second in the draft, and I won with him. So got to give him that reference. So what did you think about it, Eric?
So you put Scarlett ahead of Dalton?
I did.
Oh, wait, you did. I know where it's going. But let's see. My second favorite performance, if I had to pick from Dalton, would have been Listen from week 5 with the big band week. But honestly, there's one song that he did that was better. And we'll get there.
Did you already mention it? I thought did we touch on it? No.
He's my number 1 on the list. For me, right now.
Yeah, it's funny. For all I just said about Scarlett being like lost, I actually put her at number 2 on my list with her performance for mine. But Dalton, he had an incredible run. Like he
Probably, I honestly, I'm having trouble thinking of anyone in X Factor history who's had a better run than he had this year.
I mean, like
it's tough. There are a couple people who've come really close. I think he might have had the best run of any X Factor contestant I've seen.
Let's talk about Dalton a bit more here for a moment, because we have two winners.
When we get to my number one, but
it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit here. But we have our two winners from ignoring America's Got Talent because it didn't produce a singer, but American Idol and X Factor.
We'll get to him.
A singer. I said a singing winner.
I know, not a winner. Okay.
Oh no. So we have Maddie Poppy and we have Dalton Harris. What do you think of these two winners? Do you think they've got a shot? Do you think they're going to make it?
Maddie, I'm not so sure about based on chart performance and so far. Dalton has only had one song so far, and it peaked at number 4, and that's good. I hope he makes it. I'm not confident about either of them.
All right, I've got a question. This is a hard question, Eric. There's a top 2 of Maddie Poppy and Dalton Harris. Everyone except for their actually, who would win in that top 2?
Dalton, 100%.
No, really? Let's just move on, Eric. It's your turn. Your number 3 pick. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick this one. It's sort of a cheat, kind of, sort of, but what?
No, it's just yawning.
Okay, so Noah Guthrie with Whipping Post, his second round performance. And the reason I'm picking this is not because of what he did on the show necessarily, but because of the live version of the song I heard a couple weeks back at the concert with him. And if he got to perform it on the show with a full band like he did at the show I saw, he could have won the entire America's Got Talent, I think.
Did he perform that song on
Judgment Week? Judge Cut.
He did perform. Like, I remember hearing that. So yeah, he did, right?
Yeah, it was Judge Cut. He did just himself an acoustic guitar. But with a full band, it was astonishingly good.
Yeah, Noah Guthrie is kind of there's always those contestants. There's the Mara Justine, the Ada Vox, those like early front runners that you kind of really think are gonna end up taking the whole thing, and it kind of doesn't really work out, which is kind of what happened for Noah. But Noah, I feel, is gonna be fine, like moving forward into the next year. So. I mean,
he had some viral moments before the show, and I'm sure he can have some more after. Who knows?
Yeah,
I hope he does well. He was really good.
For me, Noah's one of the highlights of America's Got Talent this season for me. I know he didn't last that long, and people didn't really he wasn't the biggest standout towards the end, but he's one of the names I'm going to remember, and that's just something. That's how it's going to be. And I guess we're going to kind of move on to my second pick of the night, which is, you know what it is, Eric. It's Scarlett Lee performing Can't Take My Eyes Off of You during Big Band Week of the X Factor UK. I've said this before. I just wish she didn't have that couple of seconds where she started laughing, because when she was singing, I don't know why, but I still, even now, this is my favorite performance of that entire season. I believe that those couple of seconds.
You're welcome for the version of the studio without her laughing, by the way.
Yes, I did listen to that. But when she was on the table, those 8 seconds, I still believe, are some of the best singing I've heard all year. I think maybe all year. Do you think so, Eric?
Oh, she's got a great voice, and it was a great performance. It wasn't my personal pick, but I understand why you liked it. I'm glad you did.
I'm still a Scarlett Lee fan. We've kind of a little bit talked about her. Do you have any kind of final things you want to say about her for this year?
Not really. I mean, I'm hoping someone picks her up.
All right. Well, then let's hear it. What is your number 2 favorite performance of?
Katie Turner, Oops, I Did It Again.
Good pick. Explain it, Eric. Let me hear what your thoughts.
Okay. So this was good enough. It was enough of a different arrangement, enough of a flip, and I loved it so much that I went to sleep right after she performed it, thinking there wasn't a chance in hell she would be going home afterwards.
I'm gonna
because
start crying.
I thought she was so safe, and because it was the performance of the season for me, and then poof, she's gone because the second she becomes my favorite, she had to go. So I'm just so mad that she got sent home after the performance, even with Manic Monday and forgetting the lyrics. Doesn't matter. This performance was good enough for me to outweigh that.
Katie Turner, like, just what a run. Like, her entire season, like, it was just, she was what I want. Like, if people are, the contestants who are going to be going on to the next season of American Idol, I believe Hollywood Week is done. I think they're maybe filming a Hawaii Week. If I have anything to say to them, it's study the run of Katie Turner, because she was someone who was willing to just try. Like, she was going to take the risk. She was going to do this thing differently and go down if it had to go that way, but she was going to do it her way. And that is something that I just still like. I want the future Idol contestants to take a note out of her book and think about like taking those risks. Even I've always been of the opinion that if you're going to go down on one of these shows, go down doing something different. Take a risk. Go do something different. Flip a song. Do something we won't expect. Because even if you go home that week, we'll have something to remember you by. And I'm still kind of bummed that Katie went home that week.
I just, this whole season of Idol was just a giant F you to me, basically. It was like, oh, you like this person? Poof, forgot.
All right. So, I guess it's my turn for my favorite performance of the season.
Which Maddie performance was it?
Which is, of course, Maddie Poppy. It's the only performance that I think, well, it's not the only performance. I loved every performance of Maddie's. It's nothing compares to you. The Prince Week, American Idol, I believe it was top 7, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so. It was top 7. This was the closest thing we've gotten all season to, all year, I believe, to a legendary performance. One of those performances that could maybe crack the top 50 performances of Idol, maybe top 50. Do you think, Eric?
No, I don't.
Well, I believe it is.
I'm glad you liked it. I liked it too, honestly. This was the one Maddie performance of Idol that I actually really did like. Yeah, I think, I wouldn't put it on my list, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I can't get over, like, I had a favorite from like the early rounds and they actually won. That never happens. Like Jax, Gina Irie, like it never happens, and it finally happened.
That's why I'm happy for you.
And
because the entire Idol season 16 was a giant F you to me. It was a giant you're welcome to you. So
if Maddie had not won that season, I mean, man, like it would have been a travesty. And I just remember top 5 week when it was they were announcing who was making it into the finale, and they announced Gabby and Caleb first. And that was the most stressful, like 10 minutes, like 5 minutes, when I was like, oh my God, is she actually going home? Because that was the week where she performed last, and it was just, time was just constantly passing, and they weren't bringing her out to the stage. And, man, though, I'm looking forward to another year of Maddie Poppy music. I hope we're in for some good stuff, and I think we'll get some good stuff. What did you think about Maddie? That hasn't already been said this, all these tons of podcasts we've done where we've talked about her.
I'm not a fan, but
all right. Well, let's hear what your number one pick of the entire year. This is some big stakes, Eric. This is the number one pick of the entire year. Let's hear it.
This is the most the easiest pick I've ever made, honestly. And when I was making the list, for like number 2, 3, 4, 5, all the rest could be shuffled around. One performance stood out to me as not just the best performance of this year, but probably the best performance I've seen in a couple of years, honestly. And for me, it's Dalton Harris's winning single with James Arthur.
Yeah, I remember you were very, very high on that. Good performance. Not going to deny it. How many times have you listened to the single on in the time since?
According to iTunes, over 85 times.
Oh God.
Yeah.
The only song on my playlist that maybe comes close is Baby Shark.
And the worst part about it, and the thing is, I still get chills every time I hear the last note and the whole dance together. I get chills every time I listen to it. If I had to pick a solo Dalton performance, I would have picked Listen, like I said. But this was the duet. This duet by itself was the highlight of the entire year, and also by itself made up for the entirety of last year's craptastic results, where Raksu beat two other really talented artists.
Who were the runner-ups that season?
Grace Davis and Kevin Davey White. I think you'd like Grace a lot, actually.
Did people agree with that result?
Some people did. I didn't. But so Dalton had one of, if not the best journey in X Factor history, in my view. I think not a single performance was below an A for me personally. I think he was stellar, and this is my favorite all time X Factor winning single now.
All time,
all-time favorite winning single from X Factor. Well, actually, there are two categories of winning singles. There's for all the shows. I mean, the straight up ballad and more up tempo song. This is my all-time favorite ballad winning single. My favorite all-time up tempo was "Beautiful Life" by Nick. Still, so
I love that song. I still love that song. Man, this was Eric. I just got to say this was a good year for these singing competition shows.
For most of them, for me.
Most of them. I mean,
the fact that even the Thor had someone good is pretty damn impressive.
Oh my God, you're breaking the four. Maybe we should recap that next season.
No.
Is it still going to be on?
Nope. If you want me to resign right now, I will.
Did they renew it? Is it going to be coming back?
Probably. I don't care. I'm not watching.
That season was like such a dumpster fire.
That entire show was a dumpster fire.
Wasn't there like some story where one of the guys was fired, a judge?
That was the first season. Yeah, the judge was fired for sexual harassment. Dumpster fire. Dumpster fire of a show. And the person who came in the second to last week won the entire show the next week.
There were 2 seasons of the 4? Wait, really? I thought that...
Yeah, the first
I thought there was only one season. Who won the first season?
I don't even care.
Maybe we should recap it just for the fun of it.
Nope, it's not fun, though. It's not fun because, someone could show up at the last minute and win the entire show.
If I can find
format ever.
If I can find enjoyment in Baby Shark, I will manage. Yeah. I'm just being funny. Anyway, so that's kind of our list, but we got some good stuff coming up next year. I mean, I'm looking forward to American Idol. I'm also looking forward to Celebrity Big Brother, which is coming back out in, I think, the end of January 21st. There's also a series of unfortunate events, not just reality singing shows, but a lot of shows that I'm looking forward to this coming year. Any others that you're looking forward to outside of the reality competition show Stratosphere?
Not too many, honestly. I mean, those are most of the shows I watch. I mean, I'm obviously excited for John Oliver and all those other shows to come back, so I watch a lot of those. But mostly, I'm excited for AGT to take me to Idol, to take me to America's Got Talent, the summer edition to take me to X Factor, and then only have December off next year, which will be fun.
I'm also looking forward to Black Mirror. I want to give a shout out to. Are you a fan, Eric? Do you watch it?
I don't.
It's a great show. Very dark. There's actually a movie coming out. I think tomorrow. I'm according to the rumors. Don't know if they're actually true. It's a choose your own adventure movie, which sounds really cool. Like
That's
for me.
Interesting.
Are you familiar with it at all, Eric? Any of the? It's kind of like a modern day Twilight Zone kind of show, where it's kind of like it takes a dark take on some modern thing that's been produced or could be produced in the future. It's really, really intriguing. There's some episodes though that are not for the faint of heart. And if anyone watching this is thinking about watching Black Mirror, my one word of advice is do not watch the first episode, because it's not a serialized show. You can watch any episode in any order, and don't watch the first episode. Just start with the second. You'll thank me for it later. And on that note, Eric, any final thoughts? Any other things you want to mention? Either about our list or about the moving forward to 2019?
That's basically it. I mean, it was a great year for singing shows for this podcast. Season 2 of our podcast coming out because we haven't had 15 seasons behind us, unlike some other show.
Technically, this is like we could technically use this podcast as like a closing of the chapter of Adam's TV Podcast Season 1, and we're going to start 2019 as Season 2, which is insane.
I'm like, I don't actually. We'll be our Season 2.
It's
I am going to keep tweeting that meme that I made up of stop trying to make Season 2 happen.
It's not going to
until they stop, which they won't, because why the show has a huge history of great talent on it. So why not just push it all under the rug? Let's pretend that we never had a history on the show.
I mean, I'm just looking through our old videos. Like, this was fun. This was a good project. Thanks for joining me for it. Hopefully we'll have another good year next year. Maybe we'll get a video to reach. Maybe we'll get to 100 subscribers, which would be epic. And on that note, I want to say I am Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. Run my 2 websites, adamsoapbox.com and adamcvblog.com. And where can we find you, Eric?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter, Eric Ascher01 on YouTube, and ericascher.com. And on that note, subscribe on iTunes, like, share, spread the word of the podcast. We'll be back sometime between January 7th and January 10th to talk about the first week of America's Got Talent the Champions, which will be fun, hopefully.
America's Got Talent the Champions. I'm still kind of not fully like, I'm bracing myself for this, what's going to be happening. Like, it's going to be a big thing, right? Like, the list of people who are going to be on the show.
I'm just excited to see a lot of good talent again. Oh, before we go, we'll make this post-show section. I saw Piff the Magic Dragon yesterday.
And he got to hold Mr. Piffles.
I got to hold Mr. Piffles.
Was he friendly?
Yes, Mr. Piffles was very friendly. And so was Piff, obviously.
And how was the show? Did you get to? I saw a picture of a selfie with you and him. Did you get to chat with him about anything at all?
Not really. I could have if I wanted to. I mean, I was kind of in a rush to get out. But my God, it was probably the funniest hour and a half of show I've ever seen. He's hilarious.
What happened during the show? What did you get to see?
Couple tricks. Some of them he did on America's Got Talent. Like, one of them he did on AGT.
Which one?
One of them he did on Penn and Teller's show, and lots of other new ones. And the best part, I mean, there's a really drunk guy in the audience who was slurring his words and yelling stuff at the stage. And Piff was, at one point, Piff was like, "Who wants to see the show that he's watching? Raise your hands."
Did he bring guests onto the stage? Did he bring people from the audience?
Participation, yes, a ton of that.
Were you involved? Did you get to be involved in a Piff trick?
I didn't want to be, but funniest part is there's 3 kids sitting right up front, and he opens the show and sees them and was like, "Who's ready to learn some new words?"
And afterwards, he was just letting people come up and take pictures. Was there a long line?
Well, I left 5 seconds away so I could be at the front of the line.
And man, Mr. Piffles, the true standout of that.
The world's only magic performing chihuahua. TM.
He's a dragon, I thought. Or wait, is Mr. Piffles also considered a dragon? I'm never sure.
Mr. Piffles is a dog in a dragon costume.
But Piff is a dragon. Oh man, I'm so excited to see him on the show. Did he talk about America's Got Talent the Champions at all?
He did not.
Not even go watch America's Got Talent the Champions.
No, but when I met him, I said, I said I'll see you in January.
And what did he say?
He said, yeah. Basically, he doesn't seem very excited about it because he didn't win. But oops, spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
All right. This was fun, guys. We'll be back January something after the 7th for our recap of the first episode. And only a couple of weeks, though. I think it's like
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Which takes us right up until Idol, basically.
Basically, which is kind of perfect. We're going to always have a week of podcasts, which is just great. I'm excited. And until next time, I guess we'll see you guys again next year.
Happy New Year.
That joke never gets old. Until next time, peace.